Greetings! It's Maxo Diddly. Today I'm going to be showing you how you can get the Emerald Grove raided and keep Wyll, Karlach and Halsin as companions. Let's get right into it. So the first step is you're going to want to head up to the top area here above the Emerald Grove, and you're going to want Wyll and Karlach in your party. You'll need to have the grove in a relatively unharmed state. So the druids are alive, the tieflings are alive, and Karga is alive. Also, you'll need to have the goblin camp on good terms, so either you've never been there before, or you've been there and not aggroed them, because we'll need to speak to Minthara for this technique to work. So the first step is, we're going to enter the Emerald Grove by the elevator. The reason for doing this is it will make leaving the grove a lot easier. The next step is we want to go over to the cave where Karga is. Then we want to go through the stone door. Once we're inside the cave, we want to kill Karga. So we're going to go up to Karga, we'll then right click on her and click on attack. Now, Karga and her allies are going to fight us, but also the druids are now going to go and attack the tieflings. So now we're going to need to kill Karga and anyone else inside the cave. Once you've killed the people attacking you in the cave, you're going to now want to leave the cave. The next step is, you're now going to want to take the idol and keep it for yourself. This is going to stop the druids from completing the Rite of the Thorns when you leave the area. Also, you'll be able to take this really easily because all of the druids are currently attacking the tieflings. And now, we can exit the grove using this elevator to stay out of the combat. Once we've gone up the elevator, we can then walk across this wooden bridge. And if we look over there, there is combat going on. Make sure you don't get involved with it. Now you're going to want to leave the grove. And once you've left the grove, I recommend walking over to the teleport point over here. In doing so, we'll leave the combat and they'll no longer be red around the map. Also, if you wait a moment, 2 journal updates will occur. This means it's working. The next step is, we need to now kill Wyll and Karlach. So I recommend separating them from the rest of your party. And we're going to make them jump off. And we're going to take them up here. And we're going to get them to fight each other. However, if you don't want them to keep disapproving of you, you can also just jump off the cliff and kill them that way, which may be a lot easier. Once you've killed them, go over to your other companions and then approach the 2 companions who are currently fighting for their lives. If they succeed their death saving throws, right click on them and click on attack. You'll also need to not be in explorer mode for them to die. So, if they succeeded their death saving throws, right click on them and click on attack. Once they're dead, you're going to want to have a companion who has a lot of strength. So either invest a lot of strength in a character like Lae'zel, or you can just drink an elixir of Hill Giant strength. And then what we want to do is we want to right click on Wyll, click on loot, take everything, then right click on him and click on pickup. We'll then want to do the same for Karlach, so right click on her, click on loot, click on take all, then right click on her and click on pickup. If you're encumbered, you can drop one of them, you can simply use another companion to pick up the other body. Now, with Wyll and Karlach in our inventory, we need to now go to the goblin camp. We can do so by teleporting to a waypoint like the Blighted Village, and then walking over to the goblin camp. You can also change your difficulty settings if you want to. Once you get to the goblins here, you can either kill them to get past, or you can use diplomacy and get through. Since I'm a drow, they're just going to let me through. If you do kill them, it won't aggro the entire goblin camp. Now the next step is you just want to go into the goblin camp like you normally would. Once you get to the goblin camp, you can engage with the content here if you want to, but I'm going to skip through it all so we can get on with the video. When you're greeted at the door, you're going to want to make sure you don't kill the goblins, so get through with your Illithid wisdom, or if you're a drow, you can just walk through with no hassle. After that, you then want to go over to Minthara. You can interact with the goblins here, just make sure you don't aggro the entire camp. So if you want to kill the priestess, you can, just be careful to not aggro the entire camp. Once you get to Minthara, go over and talk to her. For the first dialogue option, just say a hunt, who's the target? For the next dialogue option, it really doesn't matter what you say. Then you want to say the place you seek is a grove, many of the inhabitants are already dead. Minthara's going to be happy and she's going to head off to the grove. So the next step is we need to go and rescue Halsin. To get to Halsin, you need to go down these stairs, then take a left turn, then take another left turn and cross the wooden bridge, and you'll get to the door that will take you to Halsin. Then go through this door. Now, when you get to this point, I recommend splitting up your party and sending your companion to go over here, and then sending your main character to go and talk to the goblins who are throwing rocks at Halsin. This will speed up the fight. When in this conversation, you want to say, "What the hells are you doing?" After that, you then want to say, "Leave him alone." You're going to want to side with Halsin, so attack the goblins. After that, you're then going to want to kill the goblins. After the fight, Halsin is going to come up and talk to you. It doesn't matter what you say here. It doesn't really matter what you say here either. Again, it doesn't matter what you say for this dialogue option. It doesn't matter what you say there. Then you want to say, "Look around you, there's no order anymore, only chaos." Now for this dialogue option, you're going to want to say, "The grove isn't my problem, I have to concentrate on saving myself." It doesn't really matter what you say here, Halsin is just going to tell you how you can get to Moonrise Towers. And when you get to this dialogue option, say, "I'm sorry I can't do more, thank you, and good luck with the grove." After that, Halsin is going to run off, and you're going to want to make sure your party is connected together. And once you've connected your party together, I want you to go to the map, and go to the Emerald Grove, and after that, I then want you to go to camp, and then I want you to end the day. Then click on yes, and if everything worked, Halsin is now going to show up, and he's going to be happy. He thinks the grove was saved. So now we've got Halsin ready to be recruited in Act 2. Now we want to go to bed. And now we want to leave the camp. However, you may be encumbered if you were using potions, so drink another one if you need to. Then we want to leave the camp. And now we want to go into the grove. And once we get into the grove, we're going to want to go to the Hollow. And then we're going to want to go to the place where you'd normally find Zevlor. So go through the stone door. Minthara will be located at the back of the cave, so go over and talk to her. Minthara is going to be happy, so just say you need to reach Moonrise Towers, open your mind to her, and then you're going to be taken to a cool goblin party. So, do you notice anything about our party? Karlack is here, so let's talk to her. All of her dialogue options are there. She seems pretty happy. Also notice how Wyll and Halsin are here? So let's go and talk to them. Wyll seems perfectly fine with what's going on. Now let's talk to Halsin. He seems happy with us too. And now you've got Karlack and Wyll as companions while getting the grove raided, and Halsin will remain at our camp, and in Act 2 he will join us as a full companion, and we can do his questline. All of these companions will be fully functional. You can romance them, you can do their questlines, and you can spend the night with Minthara if you want to. And that's everything for this tutorial. A little disclaimer, with Halsin, once you leave an Act 1 area, you can't return to it or he'll appear dead in your camp. So do all of the Act 1 wilderness. Then do the Underdark stuff. Then go to the Githyanki Crash area. But when you do so, you can't return to the wilderness or the Underdark. Then, once you finish the Githyanki Crash quest, move on to Moonrise Towers. When you get to Moonrise Towers, you won't be able to return to the Githyanki Crash or the other Act 1 areas. Just keep that in mind if you want to keep Halsin alive. Thanks for being a great audience. I'll see you next time.